So I have a camper van, and literally all I do with it at the minute is clean seagull crap off the bonnet. Because for reasons unknown to modern man, those seagulls sure like crapping on that bonnet.
Mine.
Before we get into it, if you want more positive videos about my encounters with stories and travel, then don't hesitate to press the subscribe button and click that bell icon so we can make life a story worth telling together. The pain of the camper van is it's not getting used. The fact the seagulls are moving in from the coast because no one is littering the promenade with fish and chips leftovers and marking their territory just adds insult to injury. April was supposed to be the month the grand experiment with the van kicked in. I'd managed to get a few overnight trips done in February and January, dodging the wet weather, but due to the way March weather works in the UK, that was pretty much a wipeout. April was preparation month, the idea being to do 2-night trips and utilise more of the van's facilities, because previous to this I'd just done single nights, with the goal of becoming more self-sufficient. You see, a core reason for owning the van is it allows me to have 5 9-day breaks a year in the UK's most landscape photography worthy locations. And just think about that for a second. 5 9-day breaks. It basically means for parts of the year it would feel like I'm rarely home. And that's not even counting going away for 3 weekends, say, out of every 4. And I had 3 of those 9-day trips scheduled. And of course all of them are now cancelled. The first trip had me travelling up to Scotland to stay in the Trossachs and Cairngorms National Parks. I was staying on the coastline of Loch Lomond for 4 nights, and I'd not heard of the Trossachs before, despite them being 720 square miles of lochs, hills and forests and mountains northwest of Glasgow. I was then going to Glencoe, and I was using that really as a base to go on the Harry Potter train, I must admit, and then on to the Cairngorms to stay for 4 nights at Glenmore, besides another lovely lake. I was also planning on driving the Snow Roads, an epically picturesque 90-mile drive across the highest public road in Britain and down through the eastern Cairngorms. And this setup was very much the template I was adopting for using the van, and it's very much based on the model under which we experienced the Canadian Rockies. Pick a base, do adventures from the base, move on to somewhere else and repeat. If possible, include epic road trip elements in the mix. So I adopted a similar approach for my second 9-day planned break. This time in Wales. Start in North Wales, stay in Snowdonia National Park, do some crazy things like the fastest zip line in the world, drive from Snowdonia National Park from the north to the south over the best bit of the Dragon Spines route. Stay at the absolutely stunning 3 Cliffs Bay and then move on to the Brecon Beacons. The third 9-day trip was a bit more relaxing in that it was somewhere I'd been to multiple times and it was a standard sort of affair in the lakes. And of course I still had 2 other trips to find and plan. And of course I haven't done that yet. I do plan to still do those trips. The challenge is, well, there's a number of challenges around that. First is when and under what criteria the travel restrictions will be lifted. I don't sense unrestricted domestic travel is close. It being blocked throughout June doesn't seem unrealistic. Even when it is allowed the various social distancing rules are going to make it a unique experience. Second is just because someone says you can travel doesn't mean anyone wants you to turn up. I can easily see some sort of anti-campervan movement building up as areas, despite surviving off tourism, don't want people turning up. And I do get that. But it is going to be an interesting conflict. Third challenge is literally everyone is going to have lots of vacation time to book in the latter half of the year, which in itself is going to cause problems. I mean, I literally have my full 30 days allocation still yet to spend. Fourth is related to all of the above, as depending on what is open, where you'd feel safe going, and the social distancing rules, there is either going to be a lot of empty locations or considerable pent-up demand. It may be the country opens up and everything is instantly booked. It may actually be that everything is already booked. and that comes down to the hardcore retired caravan brigade and how they're planning on spending the rest of 2020. As the slow reveal of what international travel might look like unfolds, there is no doubt in my mind that travel within your own domestic borders is probably going to be a focus and probably a thing. There is every chance international travel is going to get more expensive rather than less in the short term for an experience that is less than ideal. If national travel opens up though, being able to bound about in the camper van for a year or two will hopefully remain a good decision. Until then, I'll continue to walk past the camper van, smile at the potential, shake my head with the craziness of it all each time I take Daisy Dog for a walk, and I'll also check the bonnet for fresh seagull crap.
Mine.
Until next time, you can support me by doing a few simple things, like the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and post a comment below. How do you see your travel going for the next year or two, and whether international or domestic travel will be your focus? And let's continue to make life a story worth telling together.